starting midnight tonight, which is the first minute of April 22nd, coming up to Passover weekend, a 7 for Heaven sale. That means you get 7% off, including free shipping even on one bottle, and 7% off even on top of previous sale prices. So that starts midnight tonight. By the way, you can call or email to get a consult on your health issues, free, any time of the year, any day. The only time I charge for a consult is if I get inundated with medical records. So that's my ministry. So if you check out the website today, the 7 for Heaven sale is on at midnight. And we're going to have, coming up today, we have some amazing guests. Tex Mars will be on in hour 2. The latest book of The Church Has Gone Wild. It'll be amazing to discuss this with Tex, who's on the show regularly. He's a good Texan. And then we have Tim Alexander, one of our geopolitical analysts, and we're going to have Sally Miller on. Sally is a previous Miss Arkansas in 1958. She had an affair over a period of 6 years with Bill Clinton. She underwent such persecution with Hillary Clinton, she actually left the country to go to China for 6 years. And we're going to have her on as whistleblower, and then popping in for a few minutes, we have our Chris Harris, our nuclear expert, and we're working on a article that I'll be releasing this weekend. And by the way, we do have our archives up now. It's over on Blueberry. They're searchable by topic. We also are going to have our blog network forum, so you can. It'll be managed by my wife, my amazingly socially superior wife, Michelle, who has the firing line on the last hour on Fridays, answering your health and wellness questions. So she'll be managing the blog. We also have live stream and YouTube videos, and they're all going to be also linked over on our special Deagle-network.com website. That's DEAGEL-network.com website. So lots of new announcements. I do want to go down through some of the things that will be happening today. In the first hour, we're going to have, at the bottom of the hour, very important technology if you've got serious health problems or if you're just trying to be an elite athlete and dope with oxygen, is mild hyperbaric oxygen, and I use it with ozone. So we'll talk about that with Bruce McKeeman from Summit to Sea. A couple of major updates you need to know about how to go to the website. Now, I have videos that explain how to do this. If you go to our Listen Live on NutriMedical.com, and please don't wander all over the place, just go to NutriMedical.com or our other news website, Christian news website, etc., that has all of the other news in the world besides nutritional, wellness, toxicology, is Clay and Iron, CLAYANDIRON.com, clayandIron.com, and you can see the Clay and Iron site and links directly on the right-hand side of the website. And it's about, I think, the 5th down under the what's called NutriMedical Associates. Now, the first banner button says Listen Live via TuneIn, which, of course, we got the link from Republic Broadcasting, which, by the way, the technicians here are awesome. John Stantmuller is awesome. The people that call in are great. It's an amazing platform to get the truth out and to get information out. And we're going to do everything to provide you the most searchable, most available information, videos, etc. And there's no password necessary. It's all free. The second button down, besides the TuneIn, directly to listen by TuneIn, to all of the shows here on Republic, by the way. If you hit that button after our show, which is from 12 to 3 Central Time, Monday to Friday, you can hear any of the shows. Second button down is the NutriMedical Report Show Archives. And because they're transitioning from Love Reno to either Zeno Radio or, if the hosts want to, Blueberry, which I think is the most advanced system out there. That will give you the archives. You can also pull clips out of it. You can send it to social media. It's all searchable by topic, so when we get not only all my old Genesis shows from February 2009 over the next number of months loaded up, we'll probably get the first 3 months of this year, etc. You can search by topic like congestive heart failure or depleted uranium or Barack Obama or, Iskander missile systems. And you can search by topic and find any articles, any videos, and any audio files, including the shows. And you can actually pull out the clip if you want to take that, and you can email it to somebody or post it up on social media. And so all those functions are there, and they're all free for you. The next button down is Listen Live via Shoutcast, which we got the link from Republic Broadcasting Network, Republic Broadcasting. The next is the NutriMedical Show and podcast, live stream, YouTube, etc. This is the major link to what's called Deagle-network.com, and we have sub-chapters we're setting up, so we will have all the videos. Not only are they on our live stream premium channel, but we're also going to cross-index them over on the Deagle Network. And we're also going to have our blog, which is a forum. If you have questions, for example, let's say you're in a town and you want to know if there's other, RBN people that listen to the NutriMedical Report in your town or have a specific topic. Let's say you live in New York City and you grow food on the top of skyscrapers. You can pose that issue, and behind the scenes, it doesn't have to be public, we can help get your information to other people that you want to contact. People want to network, in other words. So it allows you to network behind the scenes. You can also post public responses to articles. It's going to be filtered by Michelle. No ad hominem attacks, no foolishness. She's very, very good at social things, so she'll be managing the blog. But it'll be a forum as well, where you can network with other people and start actually doing things. Exchanging information, say, about care powers, or exchanging information about health conditions. So that'll be all available, and it doesn't have to be all public, and be behind the scenes as well. The next button down is RBN Republic on-air calls. And, of course, the call-in number to call the studio is 800-313-9443. And to listen by iPhone and Android is 605-562-5111. And Android only, 712-775-6827. Now, that's all that information is over in republicbroadcasting.org, but we post these button links so you can find those. The next is really important, one of the channels on my live stream premium channel. We have a number of channels over there. This one takes you directly to NutriMedical formulas and protocols. And I have hundreds of wellness protocols to help reverse and to control and to heal hundreds of health conditions, as well as all our nutraceuticals, and I'm embedding video, plus medical references and information about how to manage them, what tests to do, what imaging studies, what benchmarks to see if you're making progress. This is very advanced. It's teaching for physicians and for patients anywhere in the world, and it's all free. And I consult and teach doctors all over the world every week, free. My dime. The next, of course, is the Deagle Network, all of the channels. And, of course, if you go to the Deagle Network, all of the channels, you're going to see that we have quite a bit of information here for you that covers a number of different, quote, events. And the event number is going to increase, but we have NutriMedical.com protocols. We have geopolitical analysis of world events. We have astrophysics and earth changes, climate change, geology, volcanism, neurospace objects, all kinds of stuff, regular and classified Tier 1 science. The next event is called Biosecurity, and most of the shows when we do with Ann Morrison, which is the second hour on Fridays, she's our scientist. Her blog is Twiland, TWILAND.info. It'll soon have a small charge to get the regular documents, and she has up to almost 100 pages every week. It's amazing the amount of information she puts together. Everything from biosecurity, like Zika virus, to the Oxy513A gene, and we collaborate on this. Things like volcanism, earthquakes, jet stream, near space objects, all kinds of really important information that's scientifically validated. The next channel is the clayandIron.com. That's our Christian website. What I call Messianic Christian Hebrew website. It's clayandIron.com. The two houses of Israel, Ephraim and Judah. The fulfillment of the bringing of the two houses together. It's the Christian World News Network. All that information over there. If we have a video presentation that I do on the side, say with Tex Mars or with Bill Warren, who I talked about before the show, Tennessee State University professor that has politicalislam.com, talking about his new English translation and proper time sequence of the Hadith and the Surah and the Quran, and the actual danger of Islam to not only America but the Europe and the world. We have the documentation and the videos on this and other interesting videos, like with Leo Lyons-Zagami in Rome, Barry Chamish, who's Jewish, who writes in Lulu. I've known Barry now for many, many years. The next event on this channel is Jurisdictionary, How to Win in Court. And I strongly recommend it if you become a pro se litigant expert. The course is $250. You get access to an amazing amount of information, weekly emails that are free, video presentations, etc. And we regularly have not only Dr. Fred Graves on the program, but we also have videos we post up, and all those videos are free. So, of course, it's $250. By the way, if you sign up and get the course, you can also sponsor other people, so you can actually get money for sponsoring other people to get the jurisdictionary course. So you can make some money on the side. We have the Carrot Bars Gold currency business. It is a gold-backed currency, the first in history. It's way better than any cryptocurrency or any new currency, even like the OneCoin, which is a gold-backed cryptocurrency. It is the ideal way to insure yourself against the devaluation of fractional reserve funny money, like the dollar, the ruble, the euro, etc. So you can build a huge downline in 12 weeks, and you actually get free gold. We'll talk about that. And usually first hour on Tuesday, we have people like Gary Franchi, who's got his own news network. We have Pete Fedek, who's one of my local uplines. He's up in Minnesota, I believe, or Michigan. Jim Deal, who's also upline, who's an amazing guy. We call him Big Deal rather than Jim Deal. So we talk about that. And there'll be other new events. All of these are, by the way, are available and free. And you can also send the information links on to anyone else. It's all free to send it to anybody. And the best way to do that is to go over to our Deagle-network.com site, because you can send hyperlinks directly to someone and they can watch it. They don't have to worry about downloading it. They just press the button, boom, it's there. So that's all available. And if we're looking at the other buttons, we have the YouTube network channel. I have a YouTube channel for NutriMedical.com, Clay and Iron, and I pull over a lot of the videos and have them, tagged and cross-linked. By the way, all of the videos over on LiveStream are all searchable on Google, Yahoo, and other searching networks. The Deagle-network.com has total connections to all the social media major things: Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And you want to sign up. The only thing we ask is your email so we can keep track and send you notices. You'll get notified if there's new videos, new uploads of the archives. And by the way, we have our iTunes working now. If you go to our archives, our gentleman, Jim Guerci, who's a techie, educator in New York, has tremendously helped, and really want to thank him publicly on air for setting up a lot of our Deagle-network.com. Next link, of course, below that is Republic Radio, all the old show archives. And I took this link off of Republic Radio. This is all the other shows. And by the way, I strongly believe in collegiality and the fact we're a family. So I want to bring on as many of the other hosts on my show and to discuss what they do and how they do it. And people don't have to agree on everything. The most important thing is we ask good questions and we're seeking the truth. So we're going to bring on other hosts from other programs. Some of them just have weekend shows. Some are regularly a Monday to Friday. And then finally, we have the free NutriMedical Show archives. This is the old archives, which will probably be taken down from Genesis, but we've managed to copy them all from February 2009 to present, and we will have those also cross-indexed and over at our Deagle-network.com. You can search by topic. Let's say, I want to know about Silver 100. I want to know about male pattern balding. You want to know about depleted uranium and what you can do for it. You want to know about, the Macondo drill site. All of the shows and everything is completely searchable at that search bar at the top center part of NutriMedical and Clay and Iron. You can search for any issue, for any word, any product, even a component of a nutraceutical. It's an amazing database-based system that I designed years ago in Java and Java Beans. This is not HTML. It's a very expensive undertaking, very advanced programming to do this. So you have a lot of functionality there, and if you have trouble with anything, give us a call, 888-212-8871. Again, I want to mention we're on our sale tonight, from midnight tonight to midnight Monday night, 7 for Heaven sale. We also have a donate button because we do provide nutraceuticals free to our veterans and to others that can't afford them, or we give special deals. We have also medical conditions just below that bar. You see radio archives. Those are archives that are on the website, special shows. We have medical conditions, and if you go to the medical conditions bar at the top, you'll see A to Z wellness conditions. We give you the password once you have bought one product. You don't have to buy a whole pile. You just buy one product, and you request it from us, and we'll give you the password to get into our wellness conditions. So it is membership. In other words, buy one bottle, you get a membership. All you have to do is ask for it. That button below that says medical conditions. We've got things like cervical, thoracic, arthritis, depression, diabetes type 2, radiation detox, tooth infections, visual eye problems, cataracts, and degenerative macular changes, weight loss protocols. All of these are integrating what we call functional medicine, which includes medicine, genetics, epigenetics, organic acids, metabolism, toxic. It includes everything. In other words, functional medicine is all-inclusive. It includes everything from chiropractic to fitness medicine to metabolism to everything you can imagine. So when you're looking at these protocols, whether you're a physician, as they say, I consult with doctors. A lot of times the patients will say to their doctor, well, I'll get my doctor to contact you. I said, well, I'll contact your doctor. Just get their email and phone, and I'll contact them by Skype or phone anywhere in the world. And I will train them. I can take any health professional, chiropractor, naturopath, MD, surgeon, specialist, organic dentist, and I can make them a better doctor. Anywhere on the planet, in any specialty. Obstetrician, gynecologist, whatever. And I'm certified as an expert witness in all specialties. Okay? All. Not just some, all. That's not a boast. That's a fact, because I want to know it's a ministry. It's a gift God's given me to be able to help people. We also are here for you spiritually. If you need prayer, we are here for you to support. We want your support by exclusively purchasing our nutraceuticals. It really helps us to stay on the air and expand our footprint, because the information we provide, including Tier 1 science and classified information, is unique. No one on any network, radio, television, newsprint, whatever, provides more access to more deep, what I call black op information, advanced medical research from stem cells, for example. I network with doctors in the Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, Advancement in Medicine, Environmental Medicine. I have contact with colleagues in clinics all over the planet. We have, for example, special anti-aging peptides and other molecules that we can use that are nutrapharmaceuticals that actually are superior even to the stem cell transplants. We have stem cell transplant clinics around the world, like Dr. Centeno's clinic in Grand Cayman, clinics in Germany, Central South America. Stematica, which is in San Diego, has a clinic in Astana, Kazakhstan, and Tijuana that has cell lines they've grown, and I have access to all these molecules. So if you if someone with early dementia or heart failure, we have things, stem cell clinics and peptides that will actually regenerate your heart muscle. We have nutraceuticals that will return your vasculature and open up your blood vessels. We have nutraceuticals that will restore. We had one gentleman the other day that contacted us that had exposure during his mother's pregnancy in the 50s, diethylstilbestrol, and there's estimated 8 million males that as a result had decrease in their sexual development and had low testosterone levels for their whole life. We can reverse that. We can actually regenerate your organs. We can return your testosterone level. We can support your production, and we can validate it with actual functional medicine tests to prove that what we did worked. We also have advanced technology like the QRMA, Quantitative Resonant Magnetic Machine. And I wrote the book Dr. U, which if you go and check it out, we have a special now on the Dr. U book at $27.85 ebook. And it explains functional medicine and the use of the amazing what's called bioresonance diagnostic technology of the QRMA. It takes a minute to do the test. You send me the compressed file. It does 35 panels with several hundred tests in it, comparing the biophotonic signature of your body versus a giant database. And we're able to then use that to direct us to whether or not we do blood tests, urine, imaging tests, if we need to, which most of the time we don't have to, and what we need to do in terms of nutraceuticals to fix your deficiencies, your toxins, etc. So this is much more advanced than symptom-based medicine, and we can validate it with regular advanced imaging tests, blood tests, urine, stool, at special labs. So most of this... And welcome back. And at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be joined by Bruce McKeeman from Summit to see the best ergonomic and the most amazing, largest, and the best prices for mild hyperbaric oxygen. There's no health condition that can be improved quicker and to a greater extent than with mild hyperbaric oxygen. If you're an elite athlete, if you're a person that's gone through major trauma, if you've had major burns, chemotherapy that's caused chemo brain, chemo heart, if you've gone through a serious autoimmune condition, and you're now trying to regenerate your tissues, if you're going to get a stem cell transplant or take some of our peptides and other molecules for anti-aging, we are working at all the steps to approach, in the next 5 to 20 years, the actual zero senescence. And we're not playing around like the so-called Methuselah Most Project. I'm working with Dr. Ron Klatz in the Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. There's 25,000 doctors and 850,000 health professionals. I blog to them regularly on environmental issues, and I'll be presenting a paper this coming November to the Academy with all the top doctors in the world in Las Vegas regarding my new theory of epigenetic control of the process of aging. And it's very advanced. I've been working in this particular field in my steps in my research for 36 years, since 1980. So we'll discuss this in further things. And I want to go over some of the protocols I have, and go over some of the more recent ones. Now, if you've got some male pattern hair baldness, the first thing you have to understand is this happens in women too, because when you get older as a woman, you start in your ovaries can start generating, and your adrenal glands can start generating male hormone, androstenedione, dihydrotestosterone, and testosterone. And in a male, what happens, those hair follicles do what's called gene silencing, where the genes are turned off. What we use first is recidival hair tonic that actually blocks the receptor. You use it 2 to 3 times a day on your scalp. We then want to support what's called a regeneration of hair, which is limited by a thing called orthosilicic silicon. And we have the special stabilized that will help regenerate hair, skin, nails. So wrinkles go away, hair grows lustrously. It helps to build the collagen in your bones, joints, and your cartilage in your joints, your tendons, ligaments, etc. So Collagen Max, which is a choline-stabilized orthosilicic silicon. And then we have Mountain Red Velvet. We have the best quality Mountain Red Velvet from New Zealand, and I recommend you open a capsule and put it under your tongue twice a day at least. You can take more. That's the starter protocol. There's more advanced things. You can use the NICO setting, NICO setting of our Lumen Photon Pulse Light Therapy, far and near infrared. And you can use a Schumann resonance generator called a micropulse developed at NASA by Dr. Bob Dennis. Those are some of the therapies. There are additional ones if you need to kind of increase your generation of hair, like Minerals Plus and Copper Regenemax, because without the copper and zinc, without the other trace minerals, you can't rebuild hair. So that's that protocol. The neat thing about this is that all these protocols are constantly being updated and improved. We're also working to always improve our products as well. So you can see that we have some really good effects to be able to help people to improve their health without the danger of major problems. We have another gentleman who requested information regarding a protocol for dental health. He was having laser gum surgery, and again, I tell people what you want to do is use a YAG laser with a biological dentist and ozone to clear out the dead tissue and the nanobacteria, etc. They use the ozone to kill the nanobacteria. And then, to regenerate the bone, the following. Use bone generator. This is from bones from south of Argentina. They're bovine spongiform encephalopathy free. The bone crystals contain type 1 collagen, growth factors, and growth hormones, as well as basically calcium, magnesium, hydroxyapatite bone crystals. It has to be a 2-to-1 ratio of calcium to magnesium, but it has to also contain silica, boron, and manganese. So do not take anything other than bone generator. Then take MyCell D3, which is our 5,000 IUs, or you can use the drops, 1 drop, 1,000 IUs, but 3 soft gels twice a day, and Collagen Max, which is, again, going to increase the regeneration, 42% of the dry weight of your bone, including we call the membranous bone of your jaw and your skull. And by the way, when you're demineralized, actually the bone resorbs or pulls away. It doesn't get less dense; it just gets thinner. Your membranous bone, so it actually creates cavitations or pockets around your teeth, and the sharp A fibers hold the teeth and actually rupture. If your budget permits, the next step is to add full vitamin K2, Myco D2, which is a mushroom-based D2, and ergothioneine, which is the first step of stem cell regeneration, is the ergothioneine, and the NICO setting of Lumen Photon. And there's actual studies proving it reverses cavitation. So that's that protocol. It gives you an idea. I have protocols for hundreds of health conditions, customized and adjusted for every person on Earth, and the consultations are free. Unless you give me tons of records, shortly here, in about an hour and a half, I'm going in my chamber. And I can tell you, if you want to slow the aging process, you want to heal, you want to regenerate, you want to prevent, deteriorating organ structure, deteriorating bones. For example, most people aren't aware that osteoporosis is an inflammatory condition. If someone smokes, their osteoblasts are being interfered with by inflammation. If you have vascular disease, and remember this, the basis for all disease, and this is what I call, if you want to call it the special and general theory of health relativity, which I'm writing actually a paper and a book on, general and special theory which deals with epigenetics, biophotons, and intermediate metabolism. 3 things. Anybody can grasp this. acidosis, hypoxia, and free radicals. Every disease has those three factors. Doesn't matter if it's cancer, autoimmune disease, pathogens. Those are the three sine qua non. And if you reverse osteoporosis, you start increasing electron density, which reverses the acidosis too. So in other words, all diseases basically are basic in their underlying process is hypoxia. In fact, I've got absolute proof that the primary change that occurs that causes autoimmune disease and inflammation and cancer is simply microhypoxia in specific organelles or tissues of the body. And the body's response is either to generate antigen on the cell surface that creates autoimmunity or to start switching on and off genes that creates cancer. So all diseases and even the aging process is tied directly to whether or not you deliver oxygen and nutrients and you pull out toxins. And if you have mild hyperbaric oxygen a few hours a day, if you've had chemo and now you got chemo brain and chemo heart, so you're going to heart failure, or you got peripheral vascular disease, or you've got microangiopathy, or if you've got peripheral neuropathy, you have to get a mild hyperbaric chamber if you want to get well. You need the nutraceuticals too. And these, by the way, our nutraceuticals are not like vitamins. These are bioconverted. So there's a lot of companies will sell you vitamins that have heavy metals in their vitamin because they dig it out of the bottom of the dirt. They aren't bioconverted to jump over your gene defects called SNPs or SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms. Our minerals, for example, are trans amino acid chelates. All our vitamins are in the activated final state, so they don't even need to worry about whether or not you have a genetic defect. But you need oxygen to increase the velocity and the eventual extent of your healing, because all, not some, but all disease, the primary underlying process is hypoxia, acidosis, and free radicals. And as soon as you correct the oxygen, the free radicals are dealt with. It's an anti-inflammatory oxygen. So I recommend ozone as well, with their little ozone generator, which we sell, with your hyperbaric chambers. And they're the most ergonomic, the brightest, the least claustrophobic, the most bells and whistles of any chambers. I mean, I get excited about it. You know, mine was away for some minor repairs in one window, and I really miss my chamber. But now, now that it's back, it's like you sleep better, you heal quicker, and you prevent disease. It's amazing. So, Bruce, tell us about your chambers. You've got several lines. You even have pet chambers as well. Let's go through some of the chambers. And by the way, we did a video the other day while you were here visiting, but we're going to do some more on the mild hyperbaric chambers. I think people need to grasp how important this breakthrough is in terms of handling and healing disease. It's not a short list. I do not know an illness that mild hyperbaric oxygen will not improve the extent and the speed and velocity and the eventual amount of healing. I don't know any. I can't find an illness, whether you're going bald, or you got coronary artery disease, or peripheral neuropathy, or inflammatory bowel problems, or autoimmunity. I can't find a condition that's not improved by using mild hyperbaric oxygen. There just isn't one.
One of the great advantages of our chambers is that we, the designers, use them. So we find what we need to do to tweak it, to make it more comfortable, to make it more usable. The best medical device in the world isn't going to help you unless you get in it. So we designed our chambers that people want to get in it. And we have a similar chamber to yours. We have a big, comfortable chair in there. It's like sitting in the living room in a comfortable chair. It's not, I'm laying down in an MRI machine and it's scary.
Exactly. Yeah, mine is actually a Grand Dive vertical. And it's big enough to have a director's chair and a triangular chair and my computer desk with a computer in there. It's got a nice side window and top window. You have a new version that's even taller, so that you can have a relatively tall person who can stand straight up in it. You don't feel claustrophobic. The walls are translucent. They're really strong. And you've got extra safety measures. There's even pressure valves that tell you if it's reached the proper pressure. Those side walls can be converted to speakers, so it turns into a giant stereo, which is amazing surround sound. And then you also have a special cooling element you've designed, which is the first in the world of these chambers, that keeps the air cool inside it instead of getting hot, because when you compress air, it can raise the temperature. Yours are the first and only ones that don't do that. And then when we put the ozone into the compressor, and I have an oxygen concentrator too, I get another 5% oxygen to 6% and ozone, and I can tell you, it's amazing what it does to the body.
Yeah, so what I found amazing was when we built the cooler, it also silences the vibrations coming down the hose from the pumps, making it an even more comfortable situation. And the ozone, if you were to just breathe ozone in a room, you'd be coughing within 2 minutes. Yeah, I know that. You don't do that in the chamber. It doesn't irritate your airways at all, because the pressure
dissolves it in the tissues, which releases super oxygen to all your tissues. And by the way, the hypoxia at the what I call the weak link cells and parts of your tissues and organs, this is the basis for all disease. I call it if you had an army where 10 guys out of 1,000 were 90-year-olds, the 90-year-olds are going to get your army into trouble. The young guys that are under 30 and in top shape, they're not. But the 90-year-olds are not fit shape, even if they're 90 and they're still moving. They're not moving very well. So if you get in a combat situation, the same thing goes with the cells of your body. If somehow we could take those 90-year-olds and reverse their aging, and now they're like 45-year-olds and they're top shape, they're not going to cause that organ to start failing. And that's what hyperbaric oxygen does. It takes the weak cells, the tissues that can't even absorb the nutrients in treatment, because this is one of the problems. Healthy cells will suck up all the nutrients, but the sick cells can't. Once you start getting oxygen, the sick cells start to pull in the nutrients and they start healing too. People don't know that. They think, well, if I get all these nutrients in my body, it's going to heal. Not necessarily, because without oxygen, it's like a carburation system. Those sick cells cannot pull in the nutrients to actually heal themselves. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is, and it makes so much more sense that people are taking tons of vitamins and getting sicker. It's because the cells...
they're feeding the healthy cells, not the sick ones. The sick ones are so weakened they can't... It's like me going in a hospital, and I got a guy that's on his last legs, and he's got hours to live. And I give him this beautiful meal, and I said, if you eat this, you're going to be healed. And his normal cells in his body, maybe he's got 10% of his cells are relatively healthy, but 90% are really in the dumper. He can't eat it. He couldn't even chew it to swallow it, okay? But if all of a sudden I give him a blast of something that says, hey, now we're going to make your cells have enough oxygen and energy, your mitochondria, you can absorb this meal, and it finishes his meal after, say, getting hyperbaric oxygen, he then walks around the hospital and says, I think I want to go home. You see, that's what hyperbaric oxygen does. It starts to take those sick and weak cells that can't even absorb the nutrients and makes them start to work again. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And people don't know that paradigm. They're thinking, well, if I take enough nutrients, surely it's going to reverse my illness. I'm thinking, yes, it will slowly reverse it, but it won't reverse it as fast or completely if you have sick cells that are so weak and so hypoxic and so acidotic and so little ATP and NADH. For example, on my desk I have a bottle of nicotine and dinucleotide hydride, which is an anti-aging molecule. We have other anti-aging molecules like our anti-age max. And these have been proven in MIT that actually within minutes reverse the mitochondrial aging. Within minutes, okay? But if you don't have oxygen, it's like a carburation in an engine, it doesn't work. That's why if you're an elite athlete and use hyperbaric oxygen before and after, say, a combat and a contact sport or a long run, you're going to do far better and you're going to recover quite much faster from lactic acidosis and the hypoxia and the tissue damage that occurs with a traumatic exercise. So people need to grasp this. Sick cells and weak cells can't heal unless you oxygenate them. Period. I mean, it doesn't matter how many nutrients you pull in, it's not going to work. Interesting, eh?
Yes, very interesting, and just yet another reason to get a hyperbaric chamber, get in it.
Let's go over some of the pricing and the ways, because you have leasing and prices of different levels of the I think the entry level of the smallest system is, I think, under 4,000, but you've even increased the size of that chamber. It's coming up considerably as well. It's got, I think, from, was it 23 to 26 inches? And,
23 to 26, which is the same size as the mid-size of a competitor who charges $17,000. Instead,
and it's under 4. Wow.
$3,995.
Wow.
The next size up will be 33 inches. That is the largest chamber many of the competitors make.
Right.
And they charge nearly $20,000 for it. And that'll be $7,500.
Right.
And then we go to the Grand Dive, 40 inches, and that's just a little over $11,000. So we're out there to get people into chambers. We've removed the excuse of it costs more than my house. We've removed the excuse of I could buy a new car, and given them the option for health.
Now, they can also lease them, and I can tell them I'll provide documentation, but not one of our customers, not one of our people that gets these chambers has to pay a cent because it's written off against their taxes. So it doesn't cost you a cent. You can lease it for a few $100s a month. If you decided after a few years, which is crazy, it's like somebody saying, well, I had water for 2 years. I feel really hydrated. I don't think I'll drink water anymore. I don't need oxygen. Once you're doing this, your body is going to say, you got to be kidding, right? So that's how important this is. So, Bruce, let's go over some of the other chambers. You have some new designs, like one where you can wheel a gurney in. You have designs big enough for a mother and a bunch of kids that have, say, autism. And you have amazing stories where you have these kids that have autism, and they're speaking in kind of incomprehensible, broken sentences, and they're in the chamber for 45 minutes, an hour, and they start speaking incomprehensible, understandable sentences that are very communicative, and it's like the wall between them and reality is gone, and they're a normal kid. It's amazing, isn't it? I call it BOF. It's a treatment for brain on fire, BOF.
We get such incredible reports. A mom with a 7-year-old nonverbal, severely autistic boy, after 6 weeks of treatments, comes out of the chamber and says, "Mom, I love you." First time he's spoken in his life.
And then if he takes our nutrients, our nutraceuticals, if he takes our evidence-based functional medicine testing, like quantitative electroencephalograms, organic acids, SPECT blood flow scans, look at the blood flow at the various parts of the brain, including frontal areas of the brain. The Quig scan will show the voltages and coherence patterns of the frequency and phase. I mean, I know all the advanced testing, all the neuropsychological testing, all the advanced imaging and electroencephalography that can be done non-invasively that can prove that we can reverse it. So when people say, well, you can't treat it, I treat hundreds of conditions that other people say is impossible, like Lyme disease, chronic peripheral neuropathy, congestive heart failure. And I network with doctors like Centeno that says, okay, you got a spinal stenosis, we'll send you out to his Regenerex clinic in Grand Cayman. They take your bone marrow, you go on vacation. 2 weeks later, the bone marrow's multiplied enough. They put it with a C-arm. We give them the nutrients to help rebuild the tissue. You don't need any surgery, just a needle under a fluoroscope into there with their own stem cells multiplied in a lab. And the FDA wouldn't allow them to give anything longer than stimulating or grown in the lab more than 24 hours. They'd say it was a drug, so he had to move his clinic from Broomfield, Colorado, where I used to be on an IRB pain research panel with him and Dr. Thacker for pain research back in the 90s and early 2000s. And we can regenerate your spine. We can regenerate your knees. You don't need a knee replacement. We can regenerate your heart. We can regenerate organs, but you need oxygen. If you want to optimize it, you need oxygen. I can tell people the antediluvian world before the flood, the oxygen concentration, this is from Amber, was 2 atmospheres at 35% oxygen. And when you create that, for example, if you have a hyperbaric chamber with 1,000 parts per million of carbon dioxide, you'll see grapes the size of grapefruit. You'll see plants grow 4 to 10 times faster than normal. You'll see mineral content on a brick scale where you measure the birefringent rotation of the light. Off the scale, with the nutrient content, the vitamin content is not phenomenal if you get the right minerals, like our MG12 minerals, and indium in the soil to supermineralize them. But you need oxygen and compressed carbon dioxide, and the plants grow like nuts. If people don't understand this, the food solution of the future is hyperbaric, hypercarbic, which is 1,000 parts per million carbon dioxide growth chambers for growing food. That's where things are going. Every ambulance should be hyperbaric. I guess I
better get back to the drawing board and start making that one.
Every air ambulance should be hyperbaric. Every ambulance should be hyperbaric. Every burn unit should be hyperbaric. Every trauma unit should be hyperbaric. So after a bad trauma, those hypoxic tissues that are ready to demarcate and make your fingers drop off after a bad burn or electrical injury, the demarcation line would become significantly improved. And I worked in a burn unit. I can see this. I'm thinking, why are these chambers, why are these burn units, why are these ICUs not all hyperbaric? You go through an airlock. Why can't you go to a hyperbaric wellness hotel where you go through an airlock, let's say, underwater, which is equivalent to 10 feet underwater, or 3,000 feet below sea level, like En Gedi in Israel, and you are then regenerating. We use morphogenic field therapy to generate and stimulate your DNA. We give you peptides to stimulate your DNA to regenerate your organs. We give you all the nutrients after doing testing, blood, urine, stool, biophotonic testing, like the bioplasm and the QRMA. And then we can say, we now have you hyperoxygenated, and now your stem cells are working, and your tissue can regrow, and aging is bidirectional. It's not unidirectional. It's bidirectional. People need to grasp that. You don't need to you can get chronologically older, but physiologically, no one's older than a 7-year-old. Everybody clones themselves into the future and completely rebuilds their body, except for a few cells like neurons, every 7 years. No one is older than a 7-year-old. Isn't that interesting?
That is very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah, when I present my theory this year, and I discovered this is really interesting, your DNA controlled, and I'm going to have Dr. Bruce Lipton on with his biology belief. His 10th anniversary edition book came out October 13th, 2015. My theory is going to blow the socks off these doctors, because I've actually been able to develop an oscilloscope to take the Russian Space Agency Metatron, and I can actually pull off the biophotonic harmonic frequencies of your DNA, biomolecules, cells, and tissues and organs, and actually map it out directly to the spectral frequency of every tissue in your body. Everything is controlled by biophotons, and if the nutrients aren't there, if the oxygen is not there, if the biophoton signaling is not there, as Bruce says, signal or vibration, biophotons, plus substance, which is DNA and nutrients, equals life. Okay? So your DNA is not fixed. It's a dance with biophotons and nutrients. And if you don't have the nutrient oxygen, nothing happens. As I say, I want to repeat this. The basis for all illness is hypoxia, acidosis, and electron deficiency. Even Linus Pauling, when you want to reverse cancer. What's vitamin C? Ascorbic acid. We have the only neutral pH vitamin C. Calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium ascorbate with bioperin. It's liquid electrons. That's the words of Linus Pauling. Without oxygen, you cannot heal. The first thing they do in an ambulance, the first thing they do in an ICU, the first thing they do when you're delivering and you're worried about the baby being hypoxic with a tough delivery, is slap oxygen on the mother or the baby in the intensive care nursery. Get a hyperbaric chamber, heal faster, heal well, heal more completely, reverse illness, and stimulate and heal your stem cells. If you want more information, contact us through the hyperlink or call us here, Dr. Bill Deagle. The link directly to Summit to See on the front page of Affiliates of Nutrient. And welcome back. And we want you to know that you can call into the show. There's a couple of rules. Number one, you need to tell the board op exactly what your question or statement is. We try to keep you on track, so if you have a specific guest, we want you to stay on track with the topic, not go on a rabbit trail. And we want to make sure there's no ad hominem attacks or there's no attempt to, quote, take over the show. And in those cases, you will be cut off. But we want to hear your statements, we want to hear your questions, and we want to answer them as completely and honestly as we can. You need to know we have some amazing guests coming up. Today, in hour 2, we have Tex Mars talking about his book called Churches Gone Wild. He's an amazing documentary person in the, a senior, you would call writer in the U.S. Air Force, and training manuals. He also is a pastor. We have Tim Alexander, our blogger, on europebusiness.blogspot.com. We have the hyperlinks. He has some amazing art there, so we often do videos after the show that are going to be embedded up in our live stream TV channel, DeagleNetwork.com as well, access. And today we have Sally Miller, who's a whistleblower. We're going to talk about the Clinton crime team, Bonnie and Clyde Clinton, let's call it. And then at the bottom of the hour, we may be able to get him today, Chris Harris. He's our nuclear safety expert. That's his radio name. He'll be coming on to talk about Fukushima Daiichi and nuclear safety. And I have a background in nuclear physics, nuclear safety, occupational safety, and nuclear toxicology. So I've been working with him for 5 years. I have an updated article on Fukushima Daiichi and nuclear reactor safety around the world. And I took care of the nuclear plant at Savannah River back in the late 80s. I took care of the nuclear plant south of Chicago and also Rocky Flats, the second most radioactive place on Earth outside of the Bunky-Nor Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. So I have considerable experience and classified access to Tier 1 science. So you're going to hear the whole truth you'll not hear anywhere else on the planet. And number 2, we've got tomorrow Roger Stone, senior advisor to Donald Trump, who I strongly support. In fact, I believe he's God's trump card. I don't think he's without fault. I think he has a problem. His wife needs to take away his tweeting account so he doesn't retweet stupid things. But beyond that, the man is honest. His reverse speech is true. It seems to be a bit of a narcissist, but that's a minor defect because he is a patriot, and he knows if he doesn't fix things, America is finished and the world is in grave danger. Right now, for example, Obama, and I want to repeat this from yesterday's show, we had Harley Schlanger on hour 2 and Mark Gaffney on hour 3. Obama is now apologizing to King Salman of Saudi Arabia that he will not release the 28 pages, which will allow thousands of Americans to sue the Saudi government for involvement in 9/11. And at the same time, he's passing out man-pads and advanced weapon systems to Turkey and to Al-Qaeda and al-Nusra and ISIS-IL. At the same time, he criticizes them and wants to attack the newly re-elected Syrian government under Bashar al-Assad and the Russians, which they're now also placing anti-missile systems and nuclear weapons along the border with Russia in Poland and Ukraine and elsewhere. This is craziness. So Obama needs to be impeached. It's not a matter of, well, he's going to soon be out of office. No. He could precipitate World War III. He's apologizing to King Solomon with thousands of people waiting for this 28 pages, which he's promised to release. This criminal in the White House is curtsying to a terrorist collaborator with the Israeli Mossad and the CIA, masterminding 9/11 and many other disasters. And the one coming up, if we don't get rid of this man, it will pale 9/11. Maybe 30, 50, 100,000, maybe 500,000 Americans will die if we don't apprehend this monster. We'll be back in a minute with hour number 2. Tex Mars, you just want to stay tuned in to the NutriMedical Report. You'll be, as they say, shaking in your boots or laughing hard, but you won't be